Marlene was a fantastic lady, young lady. Was a beautiful lady, but for Nicky was also a big support, moral support, and I think was a big part of his success.
Lauda knows how to get the best out of his team.
Niki Lauda had really learned how to make Ferrari work for him. An awful lot of drivers, very good drivers, went to Ferrari and never quite made it work. It had the terrifying presence of Enzo Ferrari with his dark glasses looming over the whole thing.
Incidere senz'altro, perché contribuisce notevolmente.
After nearly 5 decades in motor racing, the 78-year-old Enzo Ferrari rules his family business with an iron fist.
Mr. Ferrari lost his temper and he said, I am the boss here, you have to do what I want.
He did have his favourites, and Niki clearly had got close to Enzo Ferrari in that way. But I think the bottom line is Enzo Ferrari liked to win. He loved winners. He cared about the results.
And Lauda delivers, pulling further and further ahead of Hunt with every race. But at the 4th round in Spain, Lauda has worrying news for Alberto.
Daniel, I have a problem. What happened? I fell out from my tractor in my house, in my garden, and I broke 2 or 3 ribs. I said, my God, 2 or 3 ribs.
Oh, he had a gardening accident, I think. I think he was mowing his lawn in Austria with a garden tractor and it rolled on him, which is quite a common occurrence with garden tractors.
James just had this approach to it all, which was, well, he's no problem. Halfway through the race, his ribs are going to give up and I'll pass him and win the race. It was exactly what happened.
There was something in the air that night. The stars were bright.
His first win for Marlboro McLaren. You're still extremely fast. How do you do it? Big balls.
But Hunt's victory is short-lived.
In the scrutineering area afterwards, there was this unheard-of situation, really, where the car was disqualified, and that was something that nobody in Formula One really was prepared for.
Teams are allowed to modify the car to suit each circuit, but they must work within strict regulations.
1 centimeter in a Formula One car makes such a big difference.
In Spain, Hunt's car had been found to be just over a centimetre too wide.
Before the race, the car was measured by the organisers, and every day they didn't say anything. And I'm pretty sure that they were talking to Ferraris because there was a bit of kindred spirit there, the Spanish-speaking Catholic country, and the Ferraris were saying, shh, stum, keep it stum, say nothing.
I was never involved with the scrutineering. I was involved with my scrutineering, with my cars, that I want that my car respect 100% the rule, because otherwise Ferrari kill me.
Hunt's points are given to Lauda, and it looks like McLaren will leave Spain empty-handed.
We immediately appealed because we thought the penalty didn't fit the crime. It was like being hung for stealing a loaf of bread.
They pretend in the appeal to say that this difference was not affecting the performance of the car. Bullshit.
Had you any idea that the car might be thrown out?
No, I don't know. I just drive the damn thing.
Although their teams are at war, both drivers are trying to steer clear of politics. But despite their different characters, their passion for racing is a bond.
Well, Nicky, he spent time in our pits, he was always visiting us, and his grasp of English was very good. And he was always known as the Rat, because he looked like a rat. So he was called Rat to his face. I mean, James said, hello, Rat. They meshed well because they weren't actually directly in competition from looks.
You got a real type of thing going down in Dallas, and a whole lot of rhythm going round. You got a real type of thing.
The wild side of 70s Formula One is revealed in this recently discovered footage of an after-race party. Hunt is the star, with Lauda in the wings.
sure Nicky was in awe of James's, good looks and personality. James was the good-looking playboy, and Nicky was the small Austrian who looked like a rat. They were good friends, though on the racetrack, of course, no quarter given, because that's the race driver persona can change completely once on the racetrack. So all this is forgotten. All successful racing drivers are invested with an enormous ego. They all think they're the quickest. They can't imagine that they're not the fastest racing driver in the world. To admit to anything else but that would be ludicrous. Nicky and James both thought they were the best racing driver in the world.
As the season approaches halfway, and even when the points from Spain are reinstated, it's Lauda who still dominates with double Hunt's points. When the Grand Prix circus moves to Britain, the country is sweltering in temperatures reaching 35 degrees centigrade.
Skirts were getting shorter, it was getting hotter. England was baking, the whole of Europe was, it never rained. We slept in the garden for months. It was quite a remarkable year in more ways than one.
But behind the sunny mirage, Britain is in the grip of political uncertainty and economic upheaval. Inflation is rampant, and for ordinary people, the future is anything but certain.
We all know how hard the employment market is just now for new entrants, and I know how much harder it is, and has been for many of you, to get your first job.
The return of Hunt is a welcome distraction.
I think the British public saw James as a sort of hero figure.
Hello, girls.
Somebody they could admire, who was giving two fingers to the establishment. It looked good in perhaps what might be a rather austere time for other people. He had a sort of freedom about him. He didn't really care what people thought.
Hunt's unpredictable personality is a potential problem for the team's sponsor, Marlboro Cigarettes.
Off we went, and I managed to... Excuse me, I've been training for my new sponsors.
Image is everything for the American brand, and John Hogan, the man from Marlboro, has been tasked with keeping the young sportsman in line.
He was this very brash figure with a trail of destruction behind him. So that was going to be new for McLaren, which is quite a straight-laced organisation, and also for his sponsors, which are also straight-laced organisations.
In the year colour television sales overtake black and white, Hunt's car flashes Marlboro's distinctive red and white brand across the screen. And with it, he brings his own unique splash of colour.
Turning up to a dinner party in black tie and flip-flops was, to James, pretty normal. And because he had this, what I don't know, what the British call savoir-faire, he was able to sort of carry it off.
James changed the way Marlboro looked. It was the first and probably the only example of a sponsor being moulded by the driver and not vice versa.
This is Brands Hatch, just outside London in the Kent countryside. And today is British Grand Prix Day, the biggest day on Britain's motorsport calendar.
The race is sold out. Britain is in the grip of Hunt fever. A record 80,000 spectators fill the circuit, and all eyes are on one man.
Brands Hatch is packed. Every grandstand is packed, every grassy bank is packed. And the reason, because they're hoping to see the first English victory in the John Player British Grand Prix since Peter Collins won, in a Ferrari, of course, way back in 1958.
At Brands Hatch, what you had was a front row after qualifying, which looked as though it was setting the race up perfectly, because you had Niki Lauda and James Hunt on the front row, Clay Regazzoni behind in the other Ferrari.
There is drama right from the start.
Clay Regazzoni managed to drive into the back wheel of Lauda, so the two Ferraris actually collided. Complete mayhem began.
Duffy sends Hunt flying.
James's car landed on the left front corner, but being a McLaren didn't brake, and being James with the 2 pints of adrenaline, he didn't stop. He charged off with the front wheels splayed out like this.
Drivers who escaped the pileup are soon flagged down and the race called to a halt.
James was immediately thinking, I've got to get back to the pits and have the car mended.
I got out of trouble completely. I never hit anybody. I stopped on the left, and the next fucking came apart into it. Tell us what happened. Well, you know, there's a race going on there, boy.
The race has ground to a complete halt. The organisers want to restart immediately, but Hunt's damaged car is not on the grid.
And in the chaos in the pit road comes running up to me. I said, what's the car like? He said, oh, the car's destroyed. The car's a write-off. I wandered down to have a look at the race car and realised that the race car was repairable, that James's explanation that it was a write-off was not true.